Ready when you are.
Okay. Call this meeting of the Seward City Council to order. It is Tuesday, March 26th, 7 p.m. Deputy Chief Shakermeyer, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you please read the roll?
Roll call for tonight's meeting. Calhoun? Here. Barnwell? Here. Wells is excused. Kreitz?
Here.
Finch is excused. Osenga?
Here.
And Mayor McClure.
Here.
Okay, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're at citizen comments on any subject except items scheduled for public hearing. We have no public hearings. There's a sign-up sheet for this. You'll have 3 minutes. And there's a total time of 36 minutes. So, and when you come up, if you'll tell your name and if you're inside or outside the city limits. Mr. Clerk, do we have sign-ups?
Yes, there are 4 people signed up to speak. First on the list is Dan Seavey.
3 minutes.
It's Dan Seavey in from the Stakes. I'm here on a familiar subject, I hope. That's the Lee Pulaski Memorial that where the Trailblazers are undertaking. And to announce to the public that we have a finance campaign underway, and you should keep those cards and letters, especially the letters with the checks in them. Send them to box 1923 Seward, and that's the Iditarod Trailblazers. We're a 501c3 private or non-profit corporation, so that's tax deductible. You have questions?
Yes.
Please spread the word, and yeah, anyone who might know who's interested or should be interested, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Dan. And who's next?
Okay. Joe Tugas?
Joe Tugas, inside city limits. Some notes so I didn't forget stuff. I'm here to give an update and announcement on the Hilltop Properties project happening here in town at the top of the hill above Phoenix, Doorway, Olympia, Fogneck intersections. There's more information on the lots and everything online at our website, hilltopseward.com. But the long and complex project and process of the replat has been completed and recorded with the state, and the individual properties are now available for sale. There are 87 individual lots, all residential lots. This is a land development. Hilltop Properties will not be building homes on the lots. The development's designed to create property for people that want to live in Seward. There's no HOA or covenants, but it does fall under the city building code and zoning requirements. 51 of these lots are zoned R1, single family only. Short-term rentals are not currently allowed. 22 lots are R2, duplex is allowed, and short-term rentals are only allowed in 50% or less of the building. 14 of the lots are zoned R3, and of that, 12 of them are designated for townhome development. This means a minimum, it would have 73 long-term rental or owner-occupied homes to Seward when it's fully developed. What's been completed to date is that the roadway and utility tree clearing is done. Full utility, water, sewer, telephone, cable, internet, and power to 20 of the lots is completed. Approximately 1,200 feet of city and borough spec roadway is built out and done. Upcoming in the 2024 season, we will continue utility connection to 38 additional lots, and approximately 2,400 feet of city and borough spec roadway, and potentially pave the completed roadways, while there are other large paving projects happening in and around Seward. And then in 2025, we'll complete the last 27 lots for utility connection, final roadway improvements, and the last 800 feet of road. Once again, more information is available at hilltopseward.com. We're very excited to be continuing this project and now be able to sell lots.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Rhonda Hubbard.
Hello, Rhonda Hubbard, Inside City Limits. You may have seen my application to get on P&Z in your packet, and I just wanted to come here and introduce myself. I think most of you know me or heard my name or whatever, and I will disclose that my mother served on P&Z, and so she precedes me, and she's third, so I guess I'm third generation Sewardite here, so. I went to the intro that they had, I think, a week or 10 days ago, and got briefed on that, and look forward to, if I get selected to be on, that I look forward to kind of studying the plats and all this and that, and keeping an eye on Joe Tukas back here with his land development, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to, let you know that I'm here and interested in seeing. Oh, and then there's the comprehensive plan that's coming up, and so I'd like to look forward to being at the table on that as well. On another note, I want to put a shout out for the Shelley at the for the animal control department. She did a bang up job putting on the spay and neuter clinic. They had some folks come up that are nonprofit. I guess they fly around all over the world and do spay and neuter clinics. And they did 406 cats and dogs this weekend from Thursday through Saturday, including mine. So it was quite the ordeal. They were coming from all over the place. So that was a great service. And so I was inspired to make a donation. Felt like I really got a big bang for no buck. So I had to produce something, give them something, so I'll look forward to contributing more to them, and so I just she deserves props for that. So I'll end with that, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Last on the list is Tim McDonald.
Tim McDonald, Inside City Limits. Good evening, everyone. You have a lay down from me. I'm going to read that out so the public can hear it. Madam Mayor and Seward City Council, I am writing this letter in response to the Bear Mountain Tunnel project to provide Seward with a second tunnel over Lowell Point Road. Despite the fact of preparatory work already beginning and a United States Army Corps of Engineers permit for the project, a mistake has been made in not including hydropower in the project. Seward's original power plant was hydropower from the exact same location. The blockhouse is still up there, up the canyon to Mount Marathon. 2 tunnels leaves 1 tunnel the opportunity to be retrofitted with hydroelectric generators. This technology is already tried and proven. All we have to do is install them. The potential to have generators in line every 75 feet or so through the mountain is a gold mine for the Seward utility consumer and can generate all or a very large part of our needs. Potential excess power to sell is also not an opportunity to be missed. I implore the council to stop stonewalling and face the facts and do your best to align for a positive future for utility customers from Seward to Mile 24. Thank you for your consideration. Tim McDonald, March 26th. And I also find it kind of ironic, we've been working on the hydro or the heat pump project for the city buildings for the last 5 or 6 years, but when these massive opportunities come up, nothing happens. And I've heard that there's too much sediment in the water and there's too many big rocks come down, and both those are not unsurmountable at all. that project is doable. Somebody was asleep at this switch. I mean, it's a Democratic administration. That's all they're talking about is alternative energy. And we have one of the best opportunities to ever appear in Seward anyway. There's no environmental downside into it. You're not displacing anything. All you have to do is clean the water, and we've already got other wells up there where if it needs help in the winter, we could actually feed the hydro generator so we have a consistent amount of water doing power, whatever the optimum feed rate is. But it's really, really sad that that wasn't looked at and to the 10th degree. What we're doing right now, all this doesn't change a thing. It makes that spot in the road a little more secure from getting covered with gravel. But look at it, a quarter mile down the road, we had the biggest landslide ever. Does it do anything for that? No. So it's not being utilized anywhere near its potential as far as all the money that's going into this project. And I think it's extremely sad for Seward.
Thank you, Tim. And that was all that's signed up?
That's correct.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda, and I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll move for the approval of tonight's agenda and consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Are there any changes anyone wants to make? Councilmember
Yes, Madam Mayor,
Calhoun?
I'd like to pull Resolution 2024-024 from the consent agenda.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we're ready to vote, Mr. Clerk.
Voting on the approval of tonight's agenda and consent agenda, Husenga,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Kreitz,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, the agenda and consent agenda have been approved, and approved on the consent agenda were the March 11th, 2024 City Council meeting minutes, Resolution 2024-022, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Alaska Harbor Consulting for the Security Z-Float expansion project in the amount of $14,842 and appropriating funds. Resolution 2024-023, allowing Ocean Beauty Icicle OBI Seafoods to occupy their employee campground from April 1st, 2024 through October 1st, 2024. And there are no grounds for protest to the transfer of ownership from Yuri Mindenbergs to Colby Lawrence for the Breeze Inn liquor license 177, and the approval of the restaurant endorsement for the Breeze Inn. And to appoint Rhonda Hubbard to the Planning and Zoning Commission with a term set to expire of February 2025. And that is all.
Thank you very much. This brings us to proclamations and awards. We have two proclamations. The first one is Seward's Day proclamation. I've asked Vice Mayor Husenga to read this one.
Okay, it's a proclamation. Whereas on March 30th, 1867, former cabinet member to President Abraham Lincoln and then Secretary of State William H. Seward signed the Alaska Purchase Treaty, and whereas this treaty negotiated the purchase of Alaska from Russia, and whereas it was proclaimed by the state of Alaska that this day be celebrated on the last Monday of March each year, and whereas this day is of special importance to the city of Seward as this city was named in honor of William H. Seward, and whereas in March 1903, John E. Belaine, one of the founders of the city, bestowed the name of Seward upon this site because he foresaw the potential of great economic growth for this port city, just as William H. Seward saw the potential of great economic growth in the purchase of Alaska. Now therefore, Mayor McClure of the City of Seward, Alaska, does hereby proclaim Monday, March 25th, 2024 as Seward's Day, dated this 26th day of March, 2024.
Thank you very much. And David, are you online still from OBI?
Hello?
Yeah, you need to, we passed it on the consent agenda, so you don't have to be on anymore, but you were unmuted too, so just letting you know. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Seward's Day is officially the 30th of the month, just to clarify, but there's always Monday holidays, and that's why, so, that was the is for Dallas CV Iditarod race winner. And we have his grandfather here to accept. So I'll read this proclamation. Whereas Dallas Seavey is the son of three-time Iditarod sled dog race champion Mitch Seavey and grandson of five-time racer Dan Seavey of Seward, who worked tirelessly to help create the first 1,000-mile race across Alaska and who came in third in the first Iditarod in 1973. And whereas Dallas Seavey became the youngest musher to run the race at age 18 in 2005 and became the youngest champion in 2012 at the age of 25. And whereas Dallas Seavey also won the Iditarod in 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2021, and has finished in the top 10 since his second race in 2007. And whereas on March 12, 2024, Dallas Seavey broke the 2021 record by winning an unprecedented 6 times, finishing in 9 days, 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 8 seconds. And whereas Dallas Seavey and his team triumphed over many challenges throughout the race's 1,000 miles, including an aggressive moose that critically injured one of his team, a 2-hour penalty, deep snow, temperatures down to 45 below, brutal winds, and winter storms. And whereas Dallas Seavey has earned a reputation as a serious, competent, and innovative musher who ensures the happiness and safety of his team to the best of his abilities at all times. And whereas Dallas Seavey serves as an inspiration to others by choosing to live his life to the fullest despite the risks and to not let bad experiences and pain of loss prevent him from sharing the joy of traveling down the trail with the rest of the sled dogs, their next generation, and the ones after that, and after that, and after that. That was a quote. And now, therefore, I, Sue McClure, Mayor of the City of Seward, hereby honor and recognize Dallas Seavey for his deep Seward heritage, remarkable achievements, and outstanding 2024 Iditarod win, dated this 26th day of March 2024. And there's a picture, I love the picture with him and the 2 lead dogs at the end. And I'd ask Dan to come up and receive this, if you would, please. And we should all give him a clap. And now's your chance.
Related to this guy?
Now's your chance to say, you can speak now a little more if you want.
Well,
I'll allow it.
Dallas, I do accept this, by the way, with thanks from Dallas, each and every one of the council. Thank you much. I had a tough time getting a hold of him. I find out he's in Colorado skiing. He's not here at the moment, but he did say that there's nothing more important to him than what would you call it, acknowledgement from friends and neighbors. And Dallas grew up here somewhat in some other places. There's a tug of war going on between Soldotna and Seward. And that was true with Mitch too as well. But anyway, we're Sewardites, and as long as I'm around, they're going to stay Sewardites. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I always have to point out that Dan was one of my high school teachers.
Yes, I see a few of my old students here. Rhonda.
Okay, we're to the city manager's report. City manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanting to pull some things from the report in the packet tonight. The first is that Matanuska Electric, MEA, will begin their contracted services for management on April 3rd, which is next week, and we really look forward to that. We've also had some really good conversations with administrations had some great conversations with the railroad and the Seward Company about the Clean Ports Grant from the EPA, which is a funding opportunity that is coming down the pipeline that we're really excited about applying for. So we'll be moving forward with that to bring hopefully shore power to the cruise ship dock as they start building that up as well. So that's a really awesome opportunity for the city, and we'll talk about that when I travel to DC in 2 weeks. So that is coming down the pipe as well. And I had some good prep today with a visit from representative from Sullivan, Murkowski, and Dunleavy's office who were in town this afternoon or this morning.
Okay, Mr. Bickling, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I did want to add just one thing, and just want to say thanks for Joe for giving an update, and I want to give you a preview that I think it's in their first meeting in May, we're going to have a representative from Rural Cap self-help housing program, and they were able to purchase, or in the process of purchasing 10 lots up there for the self-help housing program, and so she's going to come and tell you more about that program and what it entails. And so it's a really great program for people to access housing, and so and those are, again, those are going to be houses that people are going to live here and help build and all that kind of stuff, and so just give you a heads up on that.
Excellent. Questions, comments from council for city manager? Okay, seeing none. City clerk report, what you got?
Well, on my previous city clerk report, I was encouraging people to check out legislative history, but then there's also a tech kind of glitch with the site right now that I was trying to help people navigate through, where the columns are squished and it makes it hard to see what document you're looking at. So we found a workaround to where you can get the columns wide enough to navigate the site, and the company is working on it. They don't know what the issue is, but it's a known glitch right now. So
Okay,
I hope that tech tip will help some people out.
all right. Any questions for the clerk about that? Thank you for doing that and figuring it out. It's one of those imponderables for some of
Yeah.
us. I see we have no attorney report and nothing else, down to the resolution that we pulled off the consent agenda. So I put it in new business, but that's where we are. So we now are at resolution 2024-024. Mr. Clerk, would you please read it?
Resolution 2024-024, amending the 2024 fee schedule for parking fees and seasonal parking permits.
Okay, you'll find this on page 37 of the packet, and there are copies, I believe, over here. I need a motion to approve in a second, please.
I'll move for the approval of Resolution 2024-024.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Administration, what you got?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution is a bit of a teamwork opportunity from Councilmember Finch and Councilmember Calhoun and the Parks and Rec Director and I. After our December 18th meeting, we made some changes to the parking permit structure, and it caused a issue that it would be very difficult for us to enforce the parking regulations with the new permit and payment plan set up. With the 0 to 2 in lots across the board, it was just going to be very difficult, and we'd have to hire a lot more people. So the Parks and Rec Department administration, we really wanted to revert back to the previous opportunities and just kind of cancel what we had done at the December 18th meeting and move forward with the same fee structure for 2024, so that we can see how enforcement impacts our revenue and how we're able to kind of compare those 2 years without major changes. In addition to that, Councilmember Finch and Councilmember Calhoun wanted to add a discounted seasonal pass rate for for Seward residents to be able to have a seasonal parking pass down at the harbor to counteract that as well. And then I will let Councilmember Calhoun speak to anything else.
Yeah, you brought it up, so.
I did. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The reason that we looked at this, and our plan wasn't really to to take everything back to 2023, but the administration felt like that might be the best thing to do. The one thing that we were looking to do was to create a fee schedule for Seward residents that was different from most everybody else's at a lower rate. We came up with, I think, the same as harbor area employees and Seward residents. It will impact some people that are slip holders that are Seward residents will have a lower rate if they, go with that. The one thing that I would like to do, and we can, I'll make a motion on it here in a minute when if we talk about it maybe a little bit, is the way that the resolution reads is that it will be, actually, I guess I should just go ahead and make my amendment. Is that better, or just talk about the change I'd like to make?
I think that would be okay, sure.
I'll just talking
discussion
about.
there.
Okay. So would be in the now therefore section 3, or section, what do we find around? Section 5, where you must provide proof of residence inside the city limits. And I got some more limiting than we were looking for. We were actually looking to do something more like the greater Seward metropolitan area, maybe our utility customer base, and have people that are in that area be able to prove that they are, residents of Seward, and extend that out just beyond the city limits.
So do you want to make a motion?
So I will make a motion that we change section 5, that the applicant must provide proof of residence, the best verbiage, in the Seward utility area. Does
Applicant
that
must
make
provide,
sense?
how about the applicant must provide Seward area proof of residence?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. I would suggest something a little more specific than Seward area. How far out does Seward area go? There's got to be a cutoff at
How
some.
far out do we provide power?
Well, that was what I was,
24?
yeah, that might be.
24, through mile 24.
So that's beyond the Seward area, but I mean, as discussion goes, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but, or we could put a, mile 8, or, we could do a thing like that too. I think it needs to be a little more specific. I don't know how many hundreds of people would be coming in for this, though. I'm just throwing it out there, yeah.
Madam Mayor, I don't think we're going to be talking about hundreds of people.
I know, I was
or
being facetious there.
even 50s of people, but, we have increased the cost of everybody that lives in that area lately, and this at least would give everybody that lives in that area a little bit of a break if they chose to utilize it. I don't know how many seasonal permit passes are sold to people that live in that area. It may only be 7. But it's a little bit of a step for now to give something to the people that, that support our community that way.
I was just going to ask what administration was thinking.
So thinking through this, if we keep section 5 vague with Seward area proof of residence, then in Parks and Recs in particular, we can have a policy that digs into mile 24 or beyond. So the resolution itself can keep that Seward area vagueness, but I can work with the Parks and Rec director to say that means up to mile 24, or kind of digging into what exactly that would look like. So we can talk about that after passing the ultimately more vague resolution.
Vice Mayor.
So the only question I'm going to just throw out there right now, if we're talking about people that pay for electricity in the building in the city or in the area of Seward, we're not necessarily talking about people that live here. We're just talking about people that, based on their utility bill, they don't actually live here year-round.
We could make the policy something along the lines of a Seward driver's license, so that it would have to correspond, or
Well, I'm just, what I'm getting at is I'm just afraid all of a sudden
Yeah.
we're gonna have everybody that's got a summer slip and summer pays for parking is just gonna say I'm a Seward resident by my bill and then be gone for 6 months out of the year, and it's kind of defeating the purpose. Just as a thought.
Councilmember Campbell.
Yeah, my thought is not to necessarily use a utility bill as the proof of whether or not you're gonna get this discount, but that was the area where residents could, people that live in those areas that are year-round, you're gonna have some people that snowbird and then they come back, I get that. But they're still residents of that, in that area, not just somebody that has a summer house who is a resident in Anchorage or a resident in Colorado Springs or wherever it might be. But people that are actually residents of the Seward area, that's that's my goal. That was our whole goal for this.
I think I like how it reads better now with not saying utilities, but just, it would say residents in the Seward area, like the original motion. I don't know. Other input on this? It's just on this motion, so are we ready to vote on the motion? Okay, Mr. Clerk?
And can you restate the motion just for the clerk before we vote on it? Was
The
it
motion will be, I believe, to be eligible for this discounted resident permit, the applicant must reside in the Seward area? Is that what we said?
Oh, you said must provide proof of residence
In the Seward area.
In the Seward
is what
area?
you read.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Vice Mayor?
I'm sorry. I apologize. Do we have to do this right now, or can we have some thought put into this about how we can maybe regulate this before we try to vote on this? It seems to me like we're voting on something that we don't have anything laid down and how it's going to be enforced or how it's going to look. So, I mean, I understand summer's coming and we're going to have people coming to town, but I'm just trying to figure out if there's something that we should be doing before we try to enact something like this.
Are you talking about the motion, the amendment?
Yes.
Just the amendment?
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm talking out of turn, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm talking out of turn.
Okay.
My bad.
So we're ready to vote on the amendment, which, do you have it now?
So, section 5, the applicant must provide proof of residence in the Seward area. Okay, voting on that amendment. Kreitz,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Osenga,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, that amendment has passed. Now the main motion as amended is back on the floor.
Okay. Hold on, let me just change that. Further discussion on the, now you can talk about the general thing if you would like.
I don't remember what I said now, how I said it. I'm just wondering if we need to be doing this right now, and if maybe we should look at how it could be implemented or
Turn
regulated.
that over to
It is pretty time sensitive since we are starting ramping up the parking and seasonality down there. But I think going off of what we've done previously in the past with harbor employees, finding a quick policy of proof of residence shouldn't be that difficult. I think in the long run, it would probably be driver's licenses, and we can communicate that following, but we can, the answer is, it is time sensitive, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Barnwell.
I like the idea of a Seward resident fee or a parking permit. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think where the city's going to make money is basically the hourly or the daily charges. And this is minimally impacting probably the overall budget, and it's a nice fit for, it's a nice nod to people in their hardship at this time with the electric rates. I kind of like it. It's a good idea.
I agree. Any further discussion? We're ready to vote on the resolution.
Okay, so this is the final vote for the main motion with the amendment.
Yes.
Osenga,
Yes.
Kreitz,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, that resolution has been approved as amended.
Okay, thank you. We have no other business, except there are a couple of things. There's a board, the PACCAB board minutes from February 7th meeting are in the packet, and our next city council meeting will be April 15th. We moved the dates, and you should be aware it's not the second Monday, but the 3rd. So we're doing the 3rd and the 5th of April. Which brings us down to citizen comments. And this is the time where there's no sign up for this. You just raise your hand and I call on you. And you can have 5 minutes per speaker. So anybody want to speak? They're all dumbfounded because it's only, yeah, come on up. This went so fast, they're not prepared.
Becky Dunn, Inside the City. I am holding another resolution that I'm going to read.
City of Seward Resolution 2018-19, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Seward, Alaska, designating KIBH 91.7 FM Seward as a first responder entity and the official broadcast channel for emergency information and related activities and alerts. And it goes on to read I will spare reading the rest of the resolution, but I will hand it to Chris and ask him to pass it to all the council members. I just want to offer our services. We do go live during tsunamis and make public service announcements. And as noted in the attached resolution, I was going to email you this, Seward's only radio station, KIBH 91.7, has been the official City of Seward radio broadcast channel for emergency information and related activations and alerts since 2018. Broadcasting this information from Low Point to Hope is an essential part of KIBH's mission. KIBH also regularly broadcasts information about the city calendar, agendas, and other public service announcements. My favorite is all the parks and rec activities. Those guys have been kicking butt. The discussion about the difficulty of notifying people about power outages and avalanche disclosures on the February 26th council meeting. I just wanted to volunteer our services or remind people that we are out there, and a phone call we would make announcements. And especially what made me think of this was there was just a missing kid. A 10-year-old was missing for about 3 hours. And if I would have received a call or anybody from the radio, we would have been broadcasting that. There were also 2 dogs missing, and we were announcing that and actually helped find them. Little buggers made it all the way from right by the ER room, clear down to Tufted Puffin, very old dog limping, and a little tiny dog. Anyway, so I just wanted to offer our services and remind people that we're there and we're making announcements. And for the chamber, we'll be picking up more of a pace right now. They're having a glitch with their Facebook. And so anybody wants any chamber information, to check out their website, seward.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple things. One, I need to go into executive session here for the clerk and the city manager. So working with many city clerks, a few city clerks in the past, I think Chris is doing a great job. And also the city manager, when we were in Juneau, I thought she did an outstanding job of talking to legislators. I know the mayor and vice mayor were there, and they can probably attest to that. But how much a good job they're both doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Anyone else wishing to speak? Tim?
We're still on alternative energy, and I think it would behoove the city to consider leaning into it instead of ignoring it, except for yourselves. We have a utility to save. We have a lot of customers that need relief. We just got a 30% increase a month ago. It's really bad for people, and you might start out by appointing the Port and Commerce Board to take charge of that and look at what things in the 5-year window can be hooked up to the utility to get some cheaper energy cost. For one, we might look at wind generators and do a little testing and find the one that's quietest and least obtrusive, and then subsidize those to anybody hooked up to the electrical utility. We did have a net metering law, which I don't know how it happened, but we've never had a single windmill hooked up that I know of. And basically blocked everybody from hooking those up to the grid, and I think it's time we revisit that, whatever that policy is, and that you encourage that. You know, the people need relief, and they're not just tax bots to be exploited. Really, you know, things are getting serious, we're gonna have emergency, and all of a sudden the doo-doo is gonna hit the fan, and we're not gonna be prepared for it. We need alternative energy capacity, and there's a lot of new stuff coming on the line. The sand batteries is the thing, man. We've got empty mines all over the place. We've got tons of sand, and it's a valuable commodity. And I read about it and heard about it, but the other day I had a frozen bag of sand in the back of the pickup. You pick it up, it was like a brick. I needed some sand. So I got out the weed burner. You know, they hook to the 25-pound propane tanks, and you get a big flame about 2 foot long or whatever you want. It took me 25 minutes to thaw that bag of sand out. It wasn't going through it. It was so frozen solid, and you just get a little layer and you keep going. It's true, man. That sand is the best insulator in the world, and that's what a sand battery is. You're putting hot water in there and holding that so that you can make electricity from it at will. Kind of like they used to preserve all the ice. Remember in the old ice houses in the old days, they'd pack the ice in either sawdust or sand. But sand is a better insulator than sawdust is. And, you know, so old technology is new. We need to take advantage of it. We have a lot of opportunities, and if we don't start taking advantage of them, it's on us. It's up to us to do it. It's not the federal government's going to come in and save us or whatever. They're going to spend $223 billion or $1 million, and we're not going to get anything out of it. Just get the churn of spending $200 million bucks in town. But I mean, there's nothing's going to change. We're going to have the exact same road we had. Maybe it's not as flood prone from that tunnel, but is that worth $221 million bucks? That's a lot of coin, you know, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be the feds down there telling us they're going to give us a tunnel for that. We should be telling them what we need and get it. And we're not driving the boat, those guys are, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand why none of the decisions make any sense. There's no common sense. These decisions are coming from on high. Nobody local has anything to do with them. They're just, oh, we're so happy for your free money that doesn't do us any good, but we get to spend it. That's what it comes out as. And, you know, it's bad. Everybody knows it's bad, but nobody's doing anything about it. Why not? You know, we've got people out to mile 24 that depend upon this city utility, and selling them to somebody else is not the answer. You know, if we'd been doing things 10 years ago, we wouldn't be in this position. So now it's up to us now to cover those guys 10 years down the road. We can't make it and change things right now, but we can sure make it so that this doesn't happen to the next generation, because it's pretty disgusting, the position we're in. Really very vulnerable, extremely vulnerable for everybody, and that makes people mad.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Anyone else wishing to speak? Rhonda?
Hello, Mayor, Council again. The tunnel project, it kind of made me think. I haven't really been following it, but I'm going to put my seafood industry hat on here, and we sell to RBS down there. The halibut season is open, and we're hearing rumbles of what they're going to do down there, and it's going to really impact that company there, and there's going to be a lot of bill and uplands, I think, being created through this project, as we've already witnessed and seen that at one time that dolphin was surrounded by water down there, and so there's going to be a lot of fill that's going to go into that dock, and they probably won't be able to take boats in anymore. So I don't know what you all can do to mitigate that and who's in charge of that project, but it really deserves some consideration, because we want to be able to have that facility there so that they can support the industry. We get a lot of seafood tax money, and it would be a shame to have it impacted to where it couldn't operate again. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we have council and administration comments and responses to citizen comments. So, Madam City Manager, you can begin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The one comment I would like to add is that this week the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will be down in Seward again doing a monthly, or not monthly, but an input and conversation with different stakeholders, including the Lowell Point Community Council and different people impacted by the Army Corps Tunnel project. So that is throughout this week, I think tomorrow and Thursday. So if anybody's interested, I believe it's at the Lowell Point Community Council building, but I don't remember off the top of my head what time.
Could we have those times and places put on the city website?
Yep.
I know it's really...
The Lowell Point Community Council may have put it up there already, so I would check their Facebook site, and then, yeah, so that would be the meeting to go to for that.
Okay. Anything else? Mr.
No
Bigley?
comment, no comments, thank you.
No comments, okay. Councilmember Barton, comments?
Yeah, I think we all should be worried about this tunnel project. I mean, it's a blessing. We don't want that to fail. It won't just sit, if that tunnel fails, that water goes right by the hospital and to the center of town. We need to address it. I also appreciate Mr. McDonald's comments on alternative power. I completely agree that we need to get our act together. I think today I heard that the state of Iowa is somewhere in the 50% range of alternative energy. I know Kodiak, I think, is pretty much 100%. Cordova's somewhere in 80% range. But I also encourage Mr. McDonald to kick up the data. There was a whole study on that Lowell Canyon project. Study that, come in with specifics, give us some information that we can work with. It's a deep dive, but maybe just asking some questions from some of the authors of that study. From what I remember, there was a flow problem in the winter, and that they were looking at having to determine the flow of subterranean water, and that would take a significant amount of money to figure that study out. And we're probably out of time, considering the tunnel project's already coming in. And then also the silt and debris going through the tunnel would cause huge problems with turbines. But prove me wrong. Look up the study. Start asking questions of the powers that be and bring it back to us. I totally agree. I'm petrified of where we're at as a state right now. We are really in trouble. If Hill Corps doesn't work with us and try to get the gas out of Cook Inlet right now, we've got some big problems. And not only that, we should be really trying to tackle solar and wind here in town. And I hope maybe MEA can work with us on that. MEA or MLA? MEA. Working with us on some ways to incentivize alternative power. I completely agree. Congratulations, Ms. Hubbard, for getting on the planning and zoning. Yeah. No, that's great. Glad you're stepping up. And Mr. Tugas for coming in and updating us. It's a great project. Pretty excited. I'm really excited to hear what Mr. Bickling further on that program that's coming in. Also, the state boys played in Anchorage basketball, and congratulations to that team for a great season. And I think I've said enough.
Okay. Councilmember Calhoun. I'm going to give you first. I'm mixing it up a
We'll probably have to
little.
come back, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, I know.
Also want to thank the different presentations. The comments are always good. Thank Rhonda Hubbard for stepping up for that position on planning and zoning. I think there's still one seat open. So if anybody's interested, it is a very important commission that we have and it takes care of a lot of stuff for us. So thanks for that. Mr. Tugas, thanks for your report. That information's good to know. People are asking, so we'll be able to have some better answers for them on that. That's very good. And that is basically it. Everybody have a blessed Easter week, and it is Holy Week, and Easter is coming, so just think of all your friends and family and everybody during these times. That's it.
Okay, Councilmember Kreitz.
I did want to go kind of off what you were saying, Bob, in regards to alternative energy and listening to your comments. I actually have been doing some research on some things that may be just residential and commercial wise that could be implemented. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Property Assessed Clean Energy Act that was passed by the governor back in 2021. But Anchorage and Mat-Su have actually passed ordinances for commercial businesses to be a part of that. So I'm actually looking here shortly to hopefully introduce a resolution for that, and at least it's a start. But it would be any kind of alternative energy, solar, wind, new boilers that are energy efficient, windows that are energy efficient, where that could be financed through your property taxes, the property tax assessed value. So some more of that, and I want to thank Mr. Seavey for first speaking about Lee Pileski and the statue that he's trying to do. I think that's great. So we should all look into sending him a little check for that. And also congratulations to Dallas Seavey for the Iditarod. And also thank you to Mr. Tugas for coming in about the residential lots. I know I drive through there usually like once every other week just to kind of see what's going on, and it's really exciting to see that we're going to have that much new residential opportunity. So, and congratulations to Ms. Hubbard. And I did want to tell Brenda with Becky with 91.7 that I was in the fire department the other day, and our new tsunami signs actually have 91.7 on the back of the new tsunami signs. That's who you're to listen to and to be directed to find out where you're supposed to go in the event of a tsunami. So those are being put up right now.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Elsinga.
Wait, pretty much everyone said everything I was going to say, so I'll just repeat it all. Thank you, Rhonda, for stepping up. Welcome to the P&Z Commission. Thank you, Joe, for the update on the lots up there. That's pretty exciting. And I would also say congratulations to Dallas Seavey and the entire the Seavey family. It's quite a legacy they've got going there. Thanks, everyone. That's it.
That's it. Wow. Okay. Well, I'll echo all of the congratulations. Welcome, Rhonda. It's, following in parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles' footsteps is a really neat thing. I'm following in my Aunt Lee's, so this is good. And thank you, Joe, for the update. It's amazing. And Rural Cap is great too, so if we can get that going. I wanted to mention there are a few signs around that we've put up. Tomorrow, if you didn't remember, is March 27th, and that was the day of the earthquake. Younger people now think it's always on Good Friday, and they don't really know what Good Friday is even, but it just happened to be Good Friday then. So those of us that were here obviously will never forget it. For example, there's Tim and Rhonda. You were here. You were in Kodiak, okay. Well, or in Alaska in general. So instead of having our RBHS history monthly meeting on Thursday this month, we're going to meet tomorrow night. And I think we're going to be in the museum. I'm not sure, but either the community room or museum. But we're going to meet very briefly at 7, and then by 7:15, I'm running the meeting, it'll be brief. By 7:15 or so, we're just going to sit around and share stories about the earthquake. So I'd like to invite anyone who wants to come just to hear people sharing the stories. We'll have all those pictures that us kids drew. Mine was horrible. The clerk was not pointing out that it was horrible. He sort of said great artwork, But anyway, we'll be sharing earthquake stories starting at about 7:15, 7:30 tomorrow night, and that might be of interest. And I also want to invite everybody to my choir concert. The Community Choir Spring Concert is going to be Thursday, the 4th of April. at 7. It's free. And if you came to the Christmas concert, you know how great it'll be. But we're not doing it down there. We're going to do it at the Lutheran Church on 3rd Avenue because their piano is so excellent. And so if you have questions, you can always get a hold of me about that. And there are other events going on because it is Holy Week. And one of the events, it's not really an event, but every year at noon on Good Friday, which will be this Friday, there's a service at the Episcopal Church. But during that service, I've taken on the duty to read the names of the people who died in Seward during the earthquake, and they tolled the bell for each one, which is kind of a history thing that I'm keeping going as long as I'm around. And but there are other, of course, events, and there are egg hunts too. I've seen several postings of Easter egg hunts this weekend too. So have a blessed and safe time. And no, does anyone? I knew there would be more.
No, Madam Mayor, just
There we
something
go.
that I thought about on the Lee Poleski fundraising thing. Can we, and I should ask while Dan was here, but can we find out if there's like a cutoff date for that? Because I know if they're going to have it done, because Lee's
Really soon.
funeral is on June 20th, and so I didn't know what, if there was going to be a cutoff time for people to donate to this.
I'm not sure there's ever going to be a cutoff time because we're going to do it regardless. But
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, but donations as soon as possible would be appreciated. I do know this, and if you need to know where to donate, you can get a hold of me too. My name's on the. Everybody knows, and then I can direct it too. So, anything else? Okay. So I'm actually not going to adjourn us, but instead we need to go into executive session for the annual evaluation of the clerk and the 6th month for the city manager. So I'll go ahead and make that motion now. I'll move to go into executive session per Seward City Code 2.10.033E2, subjects that tend to prejudice the reputation and character of any person, provided the person may request a public discussion, and this is for the city manager and city clerk evaluations. You don't have to run off just like that. I'm just saying, I've made the motion, I would need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. And we can vote on going into, we need to vote on that. So it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk, we'll vote.
Before we vote, I just wanted, for the record, to say that I am inviting City Manager Kat Sorensen to stay during my annual evaluation.
And I am inviting City Clerk Chris Peck to stay for my annual, or my
Thank
6-month
you.
evaluation.
We're going to have just one executive session because we all get along so well. Okay, that's the thing. And so who will be present will be the clerk, the city manager, and the council. So now we can vote on that.
Hey, Sue, hydraulic pressure. Now you can walk, it moves the fluid, it takes energy. Sidewalks, hydraulic sidewalks, mushy sidewalks.
Okay, Mr. Clerk.
You guys have been doing great, and you guys have been doing great, so I hope this evaluation is going well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Becky.
Now.
Voting on going into executive session. Calhoun,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Kreitz,
Yes.
Osenga,
Yes.
Mayor McClure.
Yes,
Okay, that motion has passed, and it is
and thank you for being
8
here.
o'clock.
Thank you, Carla.
Do we want a break before we get into this? I have something rather lengthy to read from Councilmember Finch, so if anybody needs a break, we could take a break anytime, I guess, if we need to. We're good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, we appear to be good.
Okay,
I'll bring council back from executive session. It is 9:22. We had executive session with the 6-month evaluation of the city manager and the 1-year evaluation of the city clerk. And we're giving direction to the city clerk to bring us back a resolution to modify the clerk's contract to reflect a $90,000 per year salary. Is that agreed? Okay, and with that, I will adjourn at 9:23.